719, dispatch approaching suspect. Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, officer.
What is it you think you're doing here?
I'm dumping trash out.
That's illegal. This is private property. You can't be using this dumpster for your trash.
Oh, no, it's okay. My office is right here. It's not illegal. I have an office here, sir.
Your office is here. You work, and you work here.
Correct. I'm an attorney at law. That's correct. Yes.
You're an attorney.
Yes, sir. Do you need a business card or anything?
Yeah,
you need services?
yes. I need proof of this.
Would you like services or anything, or why do you need my business?
I would like to see proof that you're an attorney, because this is private property. You can't be throwing trash out there. You're breaking the law.
Okay, I would love to show you my business card. That's no problem.
1019.
Here you go, sir. Linda Jones, attorney at law, located right at this office address.
I see the Linda Jones, but I don't see the address here.
Sir, if you flip the card over, please. Thank you. Is there anything else I can help you with, sir? Because the sun is...
I still don't see the address.
Sir, here's the address here, please. And that's my name. Is there anything else that you need to verify that, sir? I'm trying to cooperate here.
Ma'am, I'll ask the questions. You're breaking the law right now.
Actually, I'm an attorney. I know my rights, and I'm not breaking the law. As I stated, sir, I'm a tenant at this office location.
Okay, this card doesn't prove any of that. I need to see your ID.
You don't need to see my ID, sir. I just gave you my business card.
Ma'am, don't make this any more difficult than it has to be.
Address.
There's no need to be confrontational.
Nobody's being confrontational, sir. I'm not being confrontational.
Ma'am, you're being incredibly aggressive.
Wow.
All you're doing is escalating the situation, and there's no need for any of this.
I'm escalating the situation.
Correct. I've asked you
know
3
what?
times now. I need to see your
I will show
ID.
you my ID to verify the business card, okay? I'll do that for you. But I don't have to, okay? I can make sure you know that. This is my name to verify the business card and the office address, sir. This is not illegal dumping, once again.
All right, but the address is different on your license than it is on the business card.
Because that's a business location, sir. That's not my home address.
Yeah, this whole thing just seems very suspicious. I'll be right back. I need to run this ID.
You don't need to run my ID, sir. You don't need to. I'm an attorney, like I said. That'll be against your jurisdiction if you're trying to run my driver's license.
Ma'am, you
and I both know that, or I can tell you that right now. That's illegal what you're doing.
You just illegally took your ID.
Because you have no reason to legally stop me. I gave you my ID. I did not have to, once again.
Ma'am, you're breaking the law. You're illegally dumping trash. Your addresses do not match up.
Yes, they do. They do match up.
Well, then you should have no problem with me running it then, if you are who you say you are.
You don't need to run my ID, sir. I told you, again, I'm a lawyer. This is my office address. I've proven that with my business card and my driver's license. This is not illegal. You have no reason to stop me.
Well, then you should have no reason for me to run your ID if you are so in fact a lawyer and this is your property. Because from where I stand, you're illegally dumping trash into a dumpster.
If we continue with this, sir, you're going to get sued. Is that Officer I see? Badge 2322? You really want to continue this conversation with me, knowing that I'm an attorney at law?
I mean, you haven't proven that you're an attorney.
With the business card saying attorney, that doesn't, and the ID matching, that doesn't do it for you? Or you want to keep going down this rabbit hole, officer? Okay,
ma'am, this could just be so simple. All you need to do is give me your ID and your business card back.
I'm not letting you run anything. I don't have to let you run anything. Maybe you need to go read into your law books.
Ma'am.
Instead of just the academy.
If you weren't breaking the law.
You're going to get sued, sir. This is harassment now because you're on my private property as a tenant.
1017.
And you're trying to make me, call whoever you need to call because you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. I don't know if it's racism. I don't know what you have going on, a bad day. I'm not sure, sir, but you need to go.
None of that is relevant to what's going on here.
It's very relevant because you're sitting here harassing me at my workplace while I'm taking out my trash where I pay for have my office space.
Okay, none of that has been proven. I do have an ongoing investigation right now that I just got called on.
My business card. I've given you my business card. I've showed you my ID and verified that's the name. This is my office. Would you like to come inside?
Okay, ma'am. I'm gonna let you off on a warning.
You have no choice but to let me off on a warning. Because you need a warning yourself. Keep it going.
I have an ongoing investigation I need to tend to.
You know, sometimes the most ordinary moments turn into the most unbelievable situations. And what you just saw in that video, that's exactly what happened to Linda Jones, a practicing attorney, on what should have been just another regular day at her office. Picture this: you're walking out of your workplace, carrying a bag of trash to the dumpster. It's something you do every single day without thinking twice. But today is different. Today, a police officer stops you and accuses you of committing a crime. What crime, you ask? Illegal dumping. Now, before we dive deeper into what happened here, let me set the stage for you. This isn't just a story about a misunderstanding. This is a story about power, rights, legal boundaries, and what happens when a law enforcement officer confronts someone who actually knows the law inside and out. The tension you witnessed in that video? That was just the beginning. And trust me, by the end of this story, you'll understand exactly why this encounter could cost that officer his career. So let's break down what you just saw. Officer badge number 2322 approached Linda Jones near a dumpster and immediately made an accusation. That's illegal. This is private property. You can't be using this dumpster for your trash. Now, on the surface, this seems like reasonable police work, right? Illegal dumping is actually a serious problem in the United States. People dumping trash on private property, in public spaces, or in dumpsters they don't have permission to use. It's not just annoying, it's actually a criminal offense. Law point number 1. What is illegal dumping? Under U.S. law, illegal dumping is defined as the unauthorized disposal of waste on public or private property. Depending on the state and the amount of waste, this can be classified as either a misdemeanor or a felony. Penalties can range from $500 to $10,000 in fines, community service, or even jail time in severe cases. In some states like California, illegal dumping can result in up to 6 months in county jail. So the officer wasn't completely out of line to investigate, but here's where things get complicated. Linda immediately told him, "It's okay, my office is right here. I'm an attorney at law." Did you catch that? She identified herself as an attorney. Now, most people in this situation would panic, maybe fumble for their ID, try to explain themselves nervously. But not Linda. She stayed calm because she knew something the officer apparently didn't. She had every legal right to be there. But here's where the encounter takes a dark turn. Instead of de-escalating, the officer doubled down. He demanded to see proof. He demanded her business card. And when Linda calmly provided it, showing both her name and office address, the officer still wasn't satisfied. "I need to see your ID," he insisted. Now, this is where things get legally very interesting. Linda complied, but she made something crystal clear. "I don't have to show you this. I'm doing this voluntarily." Law point number 2, your Fourth Amendment rights. Let's talk about something called reasonable suspicion and the Fourth Amendment. In the United States, the Fourth Amendment protects citizens from unreasonable searches and seizures. For a police officer to legally detain you and demand identification, they need what's called reasonable articulable suspicion that you've committed, are committing, or are about to commit a crime. In this case, what was the reasonable suspicion? Linda was using a dumpster at her own office building where she pays rent and has every legal right to dispose of trash. The moment she provided her business card showing she works at that exact address, the reasonable suspicion evaporated. But the officer didn't stop there. He took her ID and said he needed to run it, meaning he wanted to check it through the police database. And this is where Linda, being an attorney, knew exactly what was happening: an illegal detention. She told him directly, "You don't need to run my ID, sir. What you're doing is illegal. You have no jurisdiction to run my driver's license." Can you imagine the officer's face at that moment? He thought he was dealing with an ordinary person he could intimidate. Instead, he was facing someone who could recite law code in her sleep. Now watch how the power dynamic completely shifts in this encounter. The officer, realizing he might be in trouble, tried to maintain his authority. He kept insisting the addresses don't match up, even though Linda had clearly shown her business address on her card and her name on her driver's license. You should have no problem with me running it then, he argued, trying to justify his illegal action. But Linda wasn't backing down. If we continue with this, sir, you're going to get sued. Think about how powerful that statement is. She wasn't threatening him with violence. She wasn't being disrespectful. She was simply stating a legal fact. What he was doing constituted an illegal stop, an illegal detention, and potentially a violation of her civil rights. Law point number 3. Unlawful detention and civil rights violations under 42 U.S.C. Section 1983. Any person who, under color of law, deprives another person of their constitutional rights can be held personally liable. This means that if a police officer detains you without reasonable suspicion or probable cause, you can sue both the officer personally and the police department. Cases like Terry v. Ohio, 1968, established that officers need specific and articulable facts for a stop. In this situation, the officer had none. Once Linda proved she worked at that address, the stop should have ended immediately. Every second after that became an illegal detention. And illegal detentions can result in massive lawsuits. We're talking settlements ranging from $50,000 to several $1 million, depending on the circumstances. The officer tried one more desperate move. He said he had an ongoing investigation into illegal dumping in the area. But even that doesn't give him the right to detain someone who's clearly proven they belong there. As the encounter continued, Linda made another crucial observation. She said, "This is harassment now because you're on my private property as a tenant, and you're trying to make me. I don't know if it's racism, I don't know what you have going on, a bad day, but you need to go." Now she brought up something that makes a lot of people uncomfortable: race. We can't see Linda in the transcript, but her bringing this up suggests she's a person of color who's experienced this kind of treatment before. Law point number 4. Racial profiling and discrimination. Racial profiling by law enforcement is illegal under the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. If an officer stops, questions, or detains someone based primarily on their race or ethnicity rather than on reasonable suspicion of criminal activity, that's discrimination. According to statistics from the Stanford Open Policing Project, black drivers are stopped at higher rates than white drivers, and they're more likely to be searched during stops even though they're less likely to be found with contraband. Was this racial profiling? We can't say definitively from this encounter alone, but Linda's frustration suggests this wasn't her first experience with being questioned for simply existing in a space where she has every right to be. The officer dismissed her concerns, saying, "None of that is relevant to what's going on here." But actually, it's extremely relevant. If Linda can prove this stop was motivated by racial bias, it strengthens any civil rights lawsuit she might file. Finally, after all the back and forth, after Linda stood her ground and made it clear she knew her rights and wasn't afraid to pursue legal action, the officer backed down. "Ma'am, I'm going to let you off on a warning." Let that sink in. A warning. For what? For taking out trash at her own office? Linda's response was perfect. "You have no choice but to let me off on a warning." She was absolutely right. The officer had no legal grounds to cite her, arrest her, or even continue detaining her. He knew it. She knew it. And now his entire encounter was likely recorded on his body camera, creating a permanent record of his mistake. The officer tried to save face by mentioning an ongoing investigation again, but by that point, the damage was done. He had illegally detained an attorney, violated her Fourth Amendment rights, and created a textbook case for a civil rights lawsuit. So what's the lesson here? First, know your rights. Linda wasn't aggressive or disrespectful, but she was firm and knowledgeable. She knew exactly what the officer could and couldn't legally do, and she didn't let him overstep those boundaries. Second, this encounter highlights a bigger problem in policing: The tendency to assume guilt first and ask questions later, especially when it comes to people of color in spaces where they don't look like they belong. Third, police officers need better training on constitutional rights, de-escalation, and recognizing when they're wrong. This officer had multiple opportunities to simply apologize and walk away, but his ego wouldn't let him. Will Linda sue? Based on her statements during the encounter, there's a good chance she will. And if she does, she'll likely win. This is exactly the kind of case that civil rights attorneys dream about: clear video evidence, illegal detention, potential racial profiling, and a violation of Fourth Amendment rights. Badge number 2322. That officer just learned an expensive lesson. You can't intimidate someone who knows the law better than you do. And that, my friends, is what happens when a cop tries to bully a lawyer.